So I'm here. Okay, great. Okay, you're good. You're all good. So hi everyone. So folks in the physical world that we can see three-dimensionally, and also those remotely joining us on Zoom. Oh, I see some old friends. Hi. And then also our people on Instagram Live. Hi. So welcome. We are super excited to introduce our 2024 Hybrid Body Lab Artist in Residence, Viviane Lee. Right over here, yay, Viviane, and Ikaro, yay, awesome. So, by way of introduction, I'm going to be very brief because there's so much more interesting than I am. So, my name is Cindy Sin Lucao. I am the Hybrid Body Lab director and also assistant professor in human-centered design. And this is our third year running the artist residency. And so we are a research lab focused on the research of hybrid skin, so designing technology that can be situated directly on the skin surface. And thanks to the generous funding of the National Science Foundation and also Engage Cornell, we've been able to run these artist residencies in which we had the really good fortune to invite artists who are experts in on body design, so such as nail artists or tattoo artists like Viviane and Ikaro, to be in our lab for a period of a few months, right? And the idea is really to invite them to use the technologies we create and to integrate into their practice. And also for us to learn from them and also to understand maybe what are some things that we're missing, right? Or not considering, right, in designing these technologies from more of a tech or a academic angle. And so this year, we had a really impressive pool of applications and making the selection process very hard for us. However, after a really extensive review cycle, we came up with 4 exceptional finalists, right? And we were really excited to just land with Viviane and also Ikaro. And so by way of introduction, so Viviane and Car, they are a artist duo from Brazil. So we really appreciate them traveling here. And yeah, and so Viviane, she is a Brazilian artist based in São Paulo. So she explores ancestry, identity, and beauty through nail art. And also challenging norms with performative sculptures. And again, I highly encourage you to follow her on Instagram, where they're both minor celebrities. And Ikaro, he is a Brazilian non-binary artist, so he explores identity, spirituality, nature, and technology through his multidisciplinary practice of tattoo art, graphic design, and 3D work. And so I will now hand over the mic to Viviane and Ikaro, where in this introductory talk, what they'll be doing is introducing us to their artistic practice. And towards the end of their residency, which would be around late November, they will then have a talk to share what they made using the technologies in our lab. So we're super excited. And so with that, I'll hand over the mic to Viviane and Carl. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So thank you, Cindy, for introducing us, and also thanks everyone for coming. We are super excited to be part of this program, and I mean, was super special to be able to come to here and uh, actually try and experiment all the technologies that has in the Cornell labs and the Hybrid Bar labs. So yeah, I'm gonna start. Let me just set up. Um, so hey, my name is Ikaro. I'm a transdisciplinary artist from Brazil, and I feel that I started being an artist because of my connection with games and MMORPGs. Um, and I feel that, sorry, I'm a bit nervous. So yeah. Um, uh, Yeah, so uh, basically, I started understanding myself as an artist because of my connection with MMORPGs. And I used to live in the northeast of Brazil and in a very small city with like less than 10,000 inhabitants. And which the biome there is called Caatinga, that is pretty much a desert, and there has also like Atlantic forest. So I used to live in a small city with there was like pretty much safe, and I could like understand the nature and be like a child in this environment, and I could like play around. And after my parents got divorced, I moved to São Paulo, and I lived there for I moved to São Paulo with like 7 years old, and São Paulo was completely different. Like there has 22 million people, and only the city has like 12 million. So it's 4 million more than in New York City. So it was a big contrast for me, like to be. I was always like playing outside, and then I was like locked in my house and trying to understand like that new environment. And in the early 2000s, computer was pretty much expensive in Brazil. So the business of like cyber cafes and internet cafes was pretty big, and opened one in front of my house, and was the first place that my mom let me go outside like alone. And was through going to the cyber cafes, to these LAN houses, that the name we used to call in Portuguese. I started playing games. I started being connected with digital environment and digital understanding the digital identity, and playing with these things in this new space. And for me, it was the first thing that shocked was I was being connected with nature through a through like a digital world. And I was before I was like literally living the nature. So I was always fascinated by like digital nature inside MMORPGs. And there we could like there always in games has like their own languages and ways like to express ourselves inside that environment, and particular skills or items that you can choose to be more to express yourself in that environment. And I feel that uh was through going to LAN houses was able as I like hadn't a computer in home. I was going to LAN houses like mostly every day to understand what I could do there. And it was like early 2000s, so like pre YouTube. And I started learning Photoshop there in LAN house computers, and it was inside the forums of the games. So the forums literally had tutorials. It was way more common than nowadays, like to have tutorials for you to create like your own images or mix images from games or everything else. And true, I feel that was true to being able to understand that I was capable of creating something complex was after like getting connected with these tutorials and being able to express myself on Photoshop and like doing collages. And uh so yeah, this is one of the artworks that I've been producing. I will explain more about in depth about a few of them. And yeah, so I understood that I could be like a graphic designer at that time, because I was like, okay, I know Photoshop and graphic design is a thing. Maybe I can work on that. And after getting out of the school, I worked on that for almost like 4 years, and it wasn't really for me because I felt that the corporate way that it was being operated, like I couldn't really fit in that environment. And was after like getting so stressed working like in advertising, and I was like super young, so I just had like a big burnout and quit my job. And with that money, I bought like a tattoo machine. And I had like already friends that was tattoo artists that was super close to me. And I was okay, like maybe I can learn it and start like being a tattoo artist. And yeah, like I tattooed professionally for 5 years. And during these 5 years, I was always like trying to put my designs in like put net art and internet culture inside my designs inside tattoo. And it was like pretty niche in Brazil at that time, like talking about digitality in tattoo. And I was already like feeling myself as an artist and not like someone that are just doing a service. So it was like so amazing for me that people were literally choosing my drawings and my designs to have in their bodies like forever. It was a something that like keeps amazing me of like tattoo, and like how you can choose you can literally choose designs and like choose how you will be like perceived. You can literally uh, yeah, I mean like you can literally choose it. And uh I tattooed like for 4 years and for 5 years, sorry. And during these 5 years, I never like stopped like being connected with digital art. I've been like working with other artists and doing like commissions and trying to develop my own language through graphic design and after all like 3D. And was when I was stopping doing tattoo, I was doing a lot of digital artworks, and it was matched like with the beginning of the pandemic. So the pandemic was pretty hard for tattoo artists because they couldn't really do their service. And for me, the same. So I was like locked in house, studying 3D and trying to understand like how I could like create something with 3D that represents myself. And I really felt that was through this point, through trying to learn 3D, that I was always like when I was being connected with digital art, I was always remembering my childhood memories. So I was always trying to put like my childhood memories inside my work somehow, and like mixing them with my references from that time. And at the beginning, I was working and like working with like artists from abroad. So it was like 3D that brought me like this opportunity to be able to start learning English, because I came from a public school in Brazil and that's not like something that is taught there. And I got able like to work with people from abroad and to have like an audience on the internet, and also being connected with Web3 and NFT. So was through NFTs that I could uh, start like exhibiting my work from outside my country. And yeah, I mean, I will just show a few works. Um, so this was like one of my last tattoos that I did. It was in the like almost the ending of the pandemic, or it was in the middle, and was it was a performance festival in a Brazilian institutional an art institution. It was created by a curator that works with Marina Abramovic Institute. Her name is Paula Garcia. And the idea of this performance was was taught like with a collective that Cyshimi is also part, and we as we are like connected with nightlife, we try to recreate the ambient of a like it was like a processual performance. So the performance was like actually creating the environment of a party. So it took like 4 hours for us to put everything there. And I was trying to think with the creator like who would be the person that would be tattooed, and the creator was like, you can tattoo me. And I was kind of shocked that like she accepted to be tattooed like during the performance, but like it was super happy for to me. And every time like we met, like she shows me like the tattoo and like it's here and I'm like, okay. So I mean, it's kind of cool. And yes, this work um this work's part of a collection called Blood Connection. It's a series of three works, and this is the first work, and it's kind of deep because it's the name of this piece is like Flowers of Non-Death. That is not that is related to a part of my childhood that I lived. Um, the thing is like my mom almost died like 2 times, and during like this process that she lived inside the hospitals, it took like 5 years. And at the last one, like she said to me that she had like an almost death or near death experience. And she's literally saw like someone giving her like three flowers, and she saw like she said like a bunch of things of this vision, and it was like literally crazy for me because this when she received it, she understood that she will become alive. She will like come back to life. And this thing like really marked me when she told me is this history. And after that, I was like, okay, I need to put it out somehow. Like I need to talk about this thing in images. That is the way I'm more comfortable with. So yeah, this series has like three works, and this one is like the third work that is called Perennial Links. This artwork was exhibited with Sotheby's and auctioned as well in 3 cities, and this is one of the marks of my career because I was the first Brazilian artist to sell a digital artwork. um, and yeah, I mean, it's super special. The person that collected this Brazilian as well, and I mean, crazy. Um, I'm always like trying to explore video game and trying to be abstract somehow and connecting with all these childhood memories. So the way that I perceive like the environment, textures, the way I'm creating bodies and trying to understand like digital bodies and how sometimes the digital is more real than we call like reality because we live like most of our times like connected with phones and cellular like on the internet. So I mean, for me it's important to understand like how can we express ourselves digitally and how we can bring that energy to our like physical world and not like reality or something. So yeah, this one is called virtual memory. And at that time, I was actually building my mom's computer, and I was like searching about I was like literally searching about like how the hardwares are connected and how things works on the motherboard between like the RAM memory and the SSG, and I discovered that at least on Windows has a thing called like virtual memory. There is this bridge between that it's the place that I'm trying to explain in English and like losing all the words. So yeah, virtual memory is it's a memory that is completely virtual. It's not like in a physical world. It's not like attached to the hardware. And the data is alive between the connection through the SSG and the RAM memory. So it's not physical, but it's still existing, and it's just like in the software, and it's in the between connections. It's not like stopped in there in the devices. So yeah, I thought like this concept like very interesting, thinking of like data alive, not being in the physical world and being in the between. Um, and yeah, like this one is my last installation that I did on the Brazilian Central Bank. It's called Ultra Deep Dive. In this one, I noticed that I'm always talking about concepts that are like endpoints. So I'm always talking about like all like endpoints are like the bridge between them. And in this one, I'm literally talking about like death and life and trying to actually play with how our perception changes when like a word is thrown in your like in your eyes, like how like our perception is like you can give a way for people to perceive the artwork if there's like words being showed. And it was the first time that I did like something physical, so had like an accessory. And yeah, I think that's it. I covered almost everything.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you all so much for coming. Thank you, Cindy and Jingwen, for making this residency possible. My name is Cyshimi. A lot of you know me as a nail artist. Um, just go before. No, here. Like, yeah. Okay, so a lot of you know me as a nail artist. But I had a pretty like multidisciplinary path like before actually really choosing nails as a medium. So I graduated in fashion design, and right when I chose to do fashion design, I knew that I really liked the idea of fashion as culture and expression, but I didn't really wanted to focus only on like clothing and garments. And so I didn't want it to focus on fashion solely for like clothing garments. And I knew that whatever I wanted to say, I wanted to say it in different medias. So right when I started school, I also wanted to experiment with other medias. So that's where I started doing also like ceramics, painting, performance, digital art, and finally nails. And I feel like with nails, you can either go like two-dimensional, like you can do a painting or something, or you can go like three-dimensional and do 3D sculptures on it. But either way, what I feel like it's so interesting is that it's going to be on a body, which just adds another layer of depth and complexity. And I feel like that really fascinates me. And so like my main themes in my work are ancestry, identity, beauty, and body. And the way that my personal connection with nails started when I was a teenage, and I used to have really long nails, like long natural nails, and like they would break. Like there was a point that they would break, and I would leave it like that. I didn't really care for it to be pretty or anything, or like I barely even painted it at the time. I was just really fascinated about something growing out of my body and being able to like last that long. A lot of people have like really fragile nails, and at a time like I used to have really hard nails, and so they will last. And from like growing my own natural nails, I was also like I also started before actually going to the practice of doing nails. I studied the history of nails while I was doing these other medias, and I feel like studying the history of nails is literally what got me into doing nails, because not only I had a personal relationship to it, but when I really studied about it and I saw like all the cultural, social relations that it has and how it impacts people's life, because that was already something that I felt having long nails. Like I felt like I just naively found it really interesting, but people around me were so opinionated and judgy about it. Like they felt like it was either ugly or gross, and I feel like all those opinions were just like full to me to want to do it even more. And my work is really about defying like this hegemonic normative concepts of beauty. Like there is a standard of beauty that it needs to be really clean, and I feel like I want to subvert this standard, and pushing forwards like the boundaries of nail are, while also kind of like trying to materialize this idea of an artificial, like an expendable body through nail sculptures. And uh, I was talking about the history of nails and how it really inspired me. And what I wanted to bring as an example are the winners of the Guinness Book of the longest nails. I really relate to their history. For example, the current winner of the longest nails of Guinness Book, um, her nails are as long as her height. So like imagine that. She she like I really relate to that, because she could cut them off, but she really chooses to have something as extreme like that. And like that's literally like an extra body, that's kind of like an extra organ that you have to live with. And not only, for example, like a really extreme long hair, okay, it could be on your way, but like for nails, that's literally on the way of one of your biggest tools of your body. So I really think about how like she she and all these other like winners, they could easily just cut them off, but they choose to really have it. And it's a lot of work. Like they take like 30 to 40 years to grow like that. And so despite all the opinion, because they are right in the public eye, so despite all the opinions that they live with in like on the internet and everything, they still really choose to keep living like that, and to like they don't really care about like what other people think. And so wait here. And so that's where I also started. That was right before I actually started doing nails. So I studied the history of nails, and like that's one of the examples. And then when I started doing nails, um, uh, there wasn't such a thing as like you would create a sculpture and then you would put it on a synthetic nail, and that synthetic nail you would glue it to a natural nail. I was doing it right to my natural nail, so it was like I had to live with it for like 3 to 4 weeks. Everything that I was doing to last for like a lot of time, and so I had to live with it. And it was like my first 2 years, I was like straight doing like only extensions, sculpture extensions. And that's why I call them a lot of my nails performative sculptures, because it's not only this aesthetic object that you're sculpting, that you're creating, but um, it's an object that is tied to your body. And so the same way that I sculpt them, they mold me back. And when you have long nails, you like people will ask me all questions like, okay, how do you do this? How do you cook? How do you clean? You can do everything. Like you can actually kind of do everything. And if you can, like you choose to not be able to do it, and it's okay. And I feel like only that choice itself, it sounds so much for people, but I feel like that's a very big statement. And you really need to kind of like, you rethink about everything that is in your environment, because you really need to, you start like thinking about, okay, like toilet flushes are designed like that. Okay, they're not designed for this nail at all. And then even are some other things, like your nail will facilitate like the managing of it. And so, yeah, that's why I started calling them performative sculptures. These nails here, I started in late 2019, and then right like when the pandemic hit. And as you can see, I can take inspirations from literally anywhere, from like device designs to like, you can see like more technological, like futuristic designs, but also a lot of like nature. So like nature textures, claws, deep sea creatures, or even like anything like internet icons, or I don't know, interior design, anything can be an inspiration. Anything that I feel like could be like an interesting shape to a nail that could be kind of new. So anything can be an inspiration. And oh, also these were all handmade. Like I've never done so far a nail 3D printed. So in the residency might be my first time, and I'm really excited about it. But I really also like how, you know, like being handmade, I feel like there's a lot of my style is very handmade. Like I can totally see when a nail is handmade or not. Like you can see kind of like the little mistakes, the little like the parts that are not symmetrical, and I really like it. And I also wanted to bring some of like the fashion editorials that I've done over these years. These are only a few. I've in my head I've done like 1,000 shoots already. Uh, it's been a lot, but I wanted to bring this because I feel like working with fashion is really important for me. Like there are some of my works that are more like conceptual and deep, and with fashion, I feel like it's really important for me to just have like fun and to be able to really do like whatever, like I can do whatever, and then maybe that will have a meaning after it's done, and when it's inside this context and narrative of a shoot. But what I feel like it's interesting also about working with fashion is that I get to directly put nails onto models and artists. And that's literally performative sculptures. That's literally when I see them in action. And like I can see how models and like artists will totally change like their performance, and like how they will get so confident. And it's like when I put these nails, they kind of get into another character. So it's really nice to see that, and how like they try to manage to do everything with this new kind of extra body tied to them. And so finally getting to like some of my works, like selected like 4 to 5 works to talk about. I feel like with these works, you can really understand like everything that I just said before. So this work is called Treasure Knots. I made this in 2022, and it was exhibited on Super Rare Gallery, and also it was on NASDAQ, the beauty on Times Square. I wasn't there in person to see it, but I keep imagining like how it felt to see like this giant nail covering like the whole building. That was being insane. And so this work specifically is literally talking about the history of nails in China. Long nails in China, they're a symbol of status quo. So a lot of like the royalty and empresses, like especially in the 19th century, they like the fact that they would have long nails meant that they didn't do manual labor. So like they didn't cook or clean or even clean themselves. They had people to do it for them. And that was a symbol of it, having long nails. And the interesting thing is that it was genderless. So either men and women had really long nails. And aside from having natural long nails, they also created these jewelries called nail guards. So it was kind of like this ring with a really big nail made out of like metals and jade. And they would put it, they would only wear like these nail guards on these last 2 fingers, on the ring and pinky finger. And the rest of them, they would have like long natural nails. And the what you see in the background is an actual postcard that exists called Fingernails of a High Class Chinaman. And I think that is so interesting that this postcard actually exists, and like it's literally like used. And these length of nails, they weren't like the person in the royalty most known for doing that is called Empress Cixi. She was a very important like empress in China, like right before, like she literally took China to the modern days. And so she had like long natural nails, but they weren't like as long as these that you see. But the background is this postcard, and on top of it, you see my nails, my hands, and these are Chinese knots nails made out of clay and ceramic. At the time, I was starting to study like Chinese design, and Chinese are super superstitious, and so everything is really symbolic to them. Like everything need like art, and everything is really symbolic to Chinese people. And then these knots, they are really present in a lot of like clothing, but also like interior design. If you go into a Chinese person house, there's probably gonna be like these knots hanging around, and they can mean a lot of things. They can mean like longevity. They can mean like good luck or like union. They're kind of like amulets, and so I wanted to like create these nails out of these knots and ceramics. They were really fragile. Like I really wanted this kind of like raw look to it. So they were they were not burned. The ceramics were not burned. So like they are kind of like in a clay phase. And so I wanted to really bring like these two things together. And I feel like as though like you can see there the piece is really has a very traditional aesthetic. I feel like there's also like a digitality to it. Like the background is not like printed. It's like a TV. So the image is on a TV and you can see the flesh like coming out of my nail. And then I feel like also like the hand with the ceramic nails like on top of it just brings like I don't know like a new kind of digitality to it. Um, the next work, moving on. This one is called Training Wear 1 and 2. As you can see, like this was 2019. That was right when I started doing nails. And I wanted to, it's called Training 1 and 2 because the 1 was like a video performance, and then 2 was an actual performance that you can see on the right. And that was the same like performance festival that me and Ikaro was exhibiting. So Ikaro was doing the tattoo, and then I was also doing this kind of like long durational performance where I would extend the nails of every artist in the festival, in the program. And then I was doing that for like 6 hours a day for like I think 4 days, and I was only extending their last two fingers, which is like a reference to Empress Cixi and like the history of nails in China. And I specifically selected these two images with this other artist that you can see, like they just got out of their performance and went to my station to do nails. Their name is Caroline Hikali. They are Japanese and Chinese Brazilian artists. And so also their research is about like memory, family, and ancestry. And I asked people to like bring some of their objects that they would like to put on their nails. So that's what they brought. And I feel like that really matches like everything, like also my research too. But there was other artists like they were bringing like circuits and like resistors too to put on nails. That was really cool. And the idea, like speaking about the performance itself, the idea of the performance was to why it's called training. It's because I was that was like one of the first nails, the first times that I was like extending people's nails, and so I wanted to, instead of like kind of hiding this process of training, I wanted to like because sometimes like when you start doing something and you don't know how to do it, you're doing it kind of like locked in your house, trying to train it to be good. But I wanted to show the training phase to to the public, like right in front of it, and while also the informality of like showing this training phase while also using a very fancy like long gala dress. And that dress was printed with the first nails that I've ever done. And you can even see that there was like actual nails glued to the dress. And then I was like extending people's nails with this dress, and I feel like there's something really interesting about like having this nail like beauty space in a performance environment where like a lot of the times like nail specifically it's such like it's really put in a very beauty service in a service area and not like art. And so I really wanted to kind of like bring this environment which is pretty much like a beauty ritual. And so I think that you can see throughout my work that I really like to work with like friction and contrast in some way. So that's what I wanted to bring. And the next one is called Reverse French Nails. And I wanted to put like that one right next to this one because I wanted to follow the same aesthetic that I did like in 2019. And I feel really proud because a lot of the times like when you do something so early in your career, it's easy for you to like not relate to it or like not like the way that I did it. But I really like like I really like this work until now. That's why I'm presenting it. And I feel really like I feel like that speaks a lot until now. And then I wanted to follow along with this aesthetic. And so this work, Reverse French Nails, it was exhibited in a gallery called A Gentil Carioca in Rio. And uh, the first thing that you see are like this a lot of like nails printed in this fabric. And then on top of it, you see three words: exaggeration, dirty, and vulgar. And on top of the words, you see French nails. Maybe it's a little like far for you to see, but those are French nails. And like the first, like the one on the bottom is like a very extreme long French nail. And then on the top, it's a duck French nail, which is like duck nails are like this. It's one of the most hated shapes of nails. It's literally to emulate a duck feet shape. It's one of my favorite, but also like there's a lot of love and hate. And then I also did like this other French nail that is kind of like floating around, like right in the image of the right top. And French nails are literally like the most neutral nails that exist. It was literally made to emulate your own natural nails. So you have like a neutral base, like a beige or brown base, and then white tips. And it was literally created for Hollywood, French nails, because like either like regular nail polish or gel nail polish, it's always like it takes some time for you to remove it and put it another color. Um, and I always say this to people because sometimes people forget how um how long it can take to do a nail, because like people will say, okay, let's do like I'm doing like 5 people, I'm doing 5 people's nails, but it's not 5 people, it's literally like 50 nails. So it's like it's 10, 10, 10. So it's like it's a lot of like mini sculptures, and I have to do all 10 fingers, so it's a lot. um but so they created this for Hollywood because it was a way for you to like you you don't have to change colors between every scene. You can just keep it like the same neutral throughout the whole like scenes and like recording all the scenes. um and so this work is literally about like just putting these words like out there, and it's kind of like you can see the friction between like the words and also like the nails that are behind it. And I like when you think about long nails, people will say the most disgusting things. They will say all these words. They will say that it's wretched, that it's ghetto. They will say like all sorts of stuff. And literally what makes me feel so tied to nails is that it talks a lot about social issues like gender issues, race issues. Those all those issues were all already present in my work before I started doing nails. So a lot of people that are on the forefront of the nail movement are like Black women, Asian women, trans women. So that's what I really wanted to kind of like put this work like really literally in front of people. So I think that this work kind of speaks for itself, like, and there's like anyone can have an interpretation of it, but Yeah, that's why it's called reverse French nail. So it's kind of like reverse these thoughts. Um, and last one, this one is called Technology of the Past, Memory of Tomorrow. I also did this last year, and it was exhibited in a gallery called Quadra in São Paulo. And what I like about this work is that you can either see like the picture of the nails, and then right next to it, the nails physically present. And so like these nails specifically, it's very like device design inspired, technological design. And then right next to it, you see this dressing table made out of ceramic. And I really like the contrast between like, again, like how futuristic one is and how like more traditional the other is. And this dressing table is really, you can really see how it's handmade, like it's totally imperfect. And I really like all the like the nail scratches that you can see, the nail marks that you can see while I molded the dressing table. And I wanted to have like a dressing table and the nails sitting on top of it. I mean, it's kind of obvious, but like the dressing table literally is where you beautify yourself and where you like dress yourself, where you literally kind of become who you are. So the idea of this work was literally to just kind of put this like in connection to each other. And yeah, I think that's it. And then we're gonna talk a little bit about like the next work, which is like the work that we did in collaboration. And this work is called Cyshimi Custom Nails. So I don't know if you want to talk about like maybe
Yeah.
Web3.
Yeah, the thing is, I started understanding that when I'm doing 3D, I can literally do anything. So it's infinite, and sometimes it's too much, but it's good when you have a vision, and it's, I mean, like when you create 3D, you can be actually the art director of everything because you are playing with the scene, the environment, the the lighting, the photo. If it's an animation, you have to do the animation of everything. So yeah, in this work, Sashimi and I just thought like in a way to kind of sell press-on nails through Web3 technology. So like bought through crypto, and we did it in like we did actually in collaboration. We created like this sort of a coin. And if someone like bought this coin, like Sashimi will talk with the person and understand like which type of nail she want,
Yeah.
they want.
Ikaro made a creation like that was in 2021, and Ikaro made this kind of collective called Magma. So they onboarded like 15 Brazilian artists to like crypto art and like NFTs, Web3, which, you know, if you think about Brazilians, like we're so kind of far from this discussion, and especially like the language barrier, like English, it can be really hard for us to like understand all these technologies and then like reach like this space also because of the language. Um, and so since like 2021, like 2020, Ikaro did
2020.
2020 Ikaro started, and then 2021 Ikaro did this creation. And so they onboarded and explained the technology for like this group of people. And then everybody like started trying to sell like their art in as NFTs. And they weren't only like digital art, there was like ceramic sculptors that were also like putting their work. And then I started like also like commercializing the pictures and videos of my nails. But then at some point I was like, okay, I want to actually like send like commercialize also the physical nail. So that's where we did a collaboration. And these are like some of the examples from the collaboration that I did, like that I sold. And so like people would tell me what they wanted, and then I would just create it custom to their nail sizes. And so that's like kind of like one of the examples of how like Ikaro and I collaborate. We know each other for 7 years, and I know Ikaro since I was 19. So we really grew up together as like as a person and also as an artist. Like Ikaro knows how to do nails, literally. And then I also like learned a little bit about 3D. And so we really know each other and really influence each other. Like literally all my work is influenced in a way by Ikaro, and I think Ikaros too. And so I feel like our collaboration, we're both sculptors, and so our collaboration is just gonna be like it's just kind of like natural. It feels like it's natural. So yeah. Um, thank you all
Thanks,
for
everybody.
coming. If anyone has any questions, thank you all for listening. If anyone have questions, something. All right. All right. Oh, also you wanted to ask something.
Yeah, I noticed both of your nails are pretty neutral.
I know. Oh my God. No.
The lip choice.
Yeah. So the way that that's a really good question. What are like there is this dictating Portuguese, but I couldn't know how to. I don't think that I would know how to translate it, but it's kind of like where the like I remember when I was a kid and I used to see this hair like this person that would cut my hair and they would have really really long hair and I was like this person like this artist that is cutting people's hairs actually have the longest hair ever, like that's kind of like weird. And then I feel like when you when you do it for so long, I've been through so many phases with nails. Like I've done like the craziest nails, and then I feel like now I'm in a phase like I have a very specific way with the way that I deal with nails. So I have like my natural nails right now, and they are painted, but they don't have anything 3D on top of it. Like even like rhinestones, I don't put it because I have a whole collection of of press-ons like I have a whole collection of me of like a lot of the press-ons that I did.
like
a lot of are not with me because I done it to people to send it to people. Unfortunately, they're not with me. But if I could, I would make like a copy of it, of everything that I've done. But I have a very big collection with me, and they're press-on. So you just like glue it on top of your natural nail with like stickers. And so if you have it, like anything 3D on top of your natural nail, you can like stick anything, any press on. And so that's why I've been choosing to keep it like that. Because if I had really long nails and I want to put something on top of it, it would be on the way of like me using my own nails. So that's why I'm kind of chose to do it that way. And I think that I'm in a phase right now where I really like some like minimal designs, and I feel like I'm more into to short nails, which is crazy.
It literally become like an accessory. So you
Yeah.
can like it's Friday night, you can just like put glue
Yeah.
them and like go to a party and like when
That's
you're back you
literally
can
how I
remove.
do it. Yeah. I just
So
glue, it's literally an accessory. So you just
yes.
like, I just glue them to an event and then I unglue it, like unstick it when I get to home. But yeah. Oh yeah, the question was, why are you kind of like, I noticed your nails are kind of neutral. And so that's why I was like answering. I don't know if you see my nails, but they are like, sure, they are decorated, but sure, but nothing 3D on top. So I can use like press-ons on top. And also I need to constantly photograph my own press-ons. So if I have nails, I can do that. So that's why I kind of like have to do it. But I really miss the times where I had like really crazy nails all the time. Like that was a really, I don't know, it was an experience that I feel like I've done it for so long, and then at some point I was like, okay, I want to do something else. But now I miss it.
So Anastasia have question.
Hello. I really mostly wanted to ask how long you were gonna be at Cornell, and
We
if
can
it's
hear
okay
you, yeah,
for people
sorry.
to. Can you hear me now?
Wait, yes. Mm. Automated.
Oh yeah.
We transcript possible.
And can you read the question?
I get, okay. The question is, oh.
No, you have this. Okay, this should be good.
Okay. The question is, I wanted to ask if it's possible to visit while you are in your residency and what you plan to work on. I don't know if I know how to answer. I feel like yes. I don't know if it's possible to visit.
Yeah, maybe the lab.
Maybe. Please email us. Okay, that's an answer.
Please.
Please email us. And honestly, I think I'm the focus of like what our works are gonna be during the residency are going to be like about like nails in a way, not solely, but like some works that we want to do with nails. But I prefer it to like keep it like a secret,
Low-key.
like a little secret until it's actually
Yes.
out.
We have like 2 months ahead. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot to think, and
Yeah,
we're excited. Yeah, we're excited to understand like what's possible. It's been nice. Someone sent
Okay, thank you.
another message.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
That's the message. Anyone else? Does anyone else have a question here in the room? Or an observation?
My question is about when you talk about the 3D art and combining that with nails, and then in terms of, and you talk about how the nail become like part of your body. How do you see this like additional material, like materiality attached to your body in general, like maybe beyond nail art, and in general having something that's 3-dimensional added to your body? And how do you see that design-wise, aesthetic-wise, and also functional-wise?
Let me see if I understood your question. First of all, oh my God.
The language here.
I don't know if I actually understood your question, but I feel like, I don't know, anything that is, I don't think I really
Yeah, I mean,
understood your question for
I
real.
got it.
You got it?
Yes. I feel that we are already like doing these things like with accessories. We are using like collars or necklaces and belts. I don't know, like I feel that it's kind of common, like watch and like the Apple Watch, that is actually like a technological device. I feel that we are actually like already living in a society that kind of claims for like things to be multitask, and I I I believe that it's kind of natural, like this evolution of like we attaching things that have like functions to our body. And that's one of the things that like interested me the most, like to apply to the residence and be with Cyshimi, like let's do it, like let's apply to this.
Okay, now I
the
got your
residency.
question.
Yes.
No, yeah, that exactly it. I feel like exactly like when you like exactly these examples of like Guinness Book that are more extreme, but anything like when you really want something on your body, you're gonna make a way to make
Yeah.
it happen, you know? So like anything that is really expressing yourself and that you feel like is making you more unique, I feel like you're gonna make a way to make it happen. And with nails,
Even
like
if it's
it was not common, but right now it's so like handy in a way. And if people like if you talk about long nails 5 years ago in Brazil, like no one knew what it was about. Like honestly, extensions weren't a thing 5 years ago. And then now that's pretty common. And in the States, even like nails were like a thing for like decades. So I don't know, I feel like I see so many examples of people like just doing crazy stuff and really living with it. I feel like you make a way. Yeah, I don't know. Was there more to your question?
Oh, yeah, I was just curious.
Okay. Okay.
Anyone else?
Anyone else? Okay.
Oh, I can project. It's okay. Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Margaret. I just had a question about like, because I know you guys showed a lot of independent work, and like Ikaro, you were doing kind of your own thing, and Cyshimi, you were doing your own thing. And I was wondering like what the collaborative process looks like when you two like work together.
I feel that we are actually working together like all day because we live together. We're a couple, so we like are seeing like each other's works like all the time, and we saw like our own like our career like being developed. So we kind of know like the like our flow of work,
Yeah.
and we know like how to divide things. And the main thing is that work that we showed was the first one that we actually like was okay, like maybe let's connect nails with 3D, because as Cyshimi like loves to make everything like by hand, and I really admire this process. I never was like, oh, let's do 3D nails. I was like, okay, like if you want, like I'm here, like we can do it. And I really believe that like in the residency we'll be able to understand like which parts of our research we can combine to have like a product or a piece or an artwork. So
Yeah, both of us are really creative, so I think both of us like have a lot of ideas, but we have like different knowledges. So Ikra is more technical, like computer technical, and I'm like I really like know my crafts a lot because I've been doing it for so long and I know a lot about nails. So I feel like, and not only nails, I feel like our aesthetics and everything, they're really like flowing together. So I feel like it's really natural. Yeah.
your answer.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sun. It was really great to see all the different like artistic nails, especially the Sashimi's work. I was wondering, there are so many techniques like different colors and also like a bubble looking bubble. Something looks like a bubble, and also many different techniques I cannot really describe. But how do you really learn to express the technique that you really want to express? You know, do you learn it from YouTube, or whenever you have
How
any
did
like
you learn?
technique? Yeah. How do you learn it?
That's a good question. So, as I said, like I started in 2019, and I started to do, I actually never heard about nail extensions until the beginning of 2019, because I received a gift from like my friend, and the gift was a nail extension at a salon. And I didn't even knew that there was nail extensions at all, because that wasn't common in Brazil. And I only had my long natural nails, and that was a breaking point because I had to cut off all my natural nails to be able to do an extension. And so when I started doing these extensions, I came up to the nail tech and I was like, okay, I have this idea, and she would do it. And we were collaborating for like 3 to 4 sessions. Like I brought the design and then she would do it. And then the third design that I brought was a nail that was split it in half instead of like having like a format. It was split it in half. And then she actually made it. And I was seeing like she works with acrylic, which is like the material that I mostly work with. And I was like, okay, I now like it can go so much far. And I was already an artist. And then I was studying the history of nails. And then I was like, okay, I want to do it. And then I want to search it for my own. But I started learning on YouTube, but there was so like little videos at the time. 2019, like it was before TikTok. Like now you can really easily learn nails because TikTok has so overwhelming honestly. The whole society. And then like you can learn like everything from nails from TikTok. But then it was YouTube. But a lot of videos were in English, and I did knew English, but the problem is that I had none of those materials. None of those materials were available in the country, and like that's actually an issue that I face until now. So I come here to the US to get the materials to go back to Brazil because it's so inaccessible, like it's so different. And I love, like, I actually, oh my God, I'm going, like, my head is going like other ways, but literally the way, because the technology of acrylic was invented in the 70s in US, literally US dictates what nails is in a way. Like a lot of like it's of course first world country or either like US or Europe, they were the first ones that created the technologies. And so because they created acrylic was already a thing in nail salons since like 70s, 80s. And that didn't come to Brazil like maybe decades later. I don't exactly know when, but if you look into Brazil's like nail aesthetic is so different than the ones here, exactly because of the material, because in Brazil what is common is gel on fiberglass. And so it's a whole other technique, whole other process. And so yeah, I feel like a lot of why it's inaccessible, I think that's the supplies and stuff. It also, the inaccessibility of the supplies always also like marks my work in a way, because I really like do a lot of things with acrylic, and the way that I learned to do it like sculptures, because now if you look into nail sculptures on TikTok, you can easily find something. But at the time, I literally saw someone do like, there is this trend in nails, like I think it was in the 90s, where they would make like phone cards nails. So it would be a nail that would do this. The technique to do that was to do with a straw. And so I feel like that was the first thing that I've ever saw, and I was like, okay, so if acrylic is not sticking to plastics, to bendable plastics, then I want to try doing like any of my ideas. So that's kind of like where it started. Yeah.
So thank you so much, Viviane and Ikaro, for an amazing talk. In 8 weeks, they will be having another talk to share what they will create in the artist residency. So please stay tuned for that. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. And I want to thank Jingwen. So Jingwen, our PhD student, who is a lot of the heavy lifting. So she's a PhD student in our lab, running the workshop, running the artist residency, and also our admins at HCD, Karen and Steffi, helping us set everything up as well. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. See you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.